Nathan woke up another day in the house, feeling like an intruder. He didn't have breakfast, he just left for school. JP felt like he should be happy, but he wasn't. His mind was full. He came from a place where there were many opportunities, and a year ago he, from, he was struggling to get into an university and be able to provide a decent life for his family. So he left for his country, along with his girlfriend, whom he trusted a lot, but now they are acting like strangers. During the break, Nate went to the bathroom to get a message from his mother about a gay romance novel. Your father didn't like this. We'll talk about it when you get home. Come as soon as you can. This won't go undecided. With tears in his eyes, he wished he had nowhere to go. But suddenly, he heard a bang on the bathroom door. A tall, dark-haired boy came in. Overcome with fury, he punched the door of the first stall he saw and didn't hesitate to hide inside it. Nathan quickly left without looking back. João Pedro couldn't stand it anymore. When he opened his Instagram, he saw a photo of his ex-girlfriend with a stranger. The sky suddenly turned gray, and it started to rain. Nathan decided to walk home. JP couldn't bear to get on the bus and see his love, so would walk home. During the rain, the little boy found the strange angry boy crying like a child. He tried to ignore it, but then he heard a voice, trembling and desperate. Would you trade someone who has been by your side for years for someone you just met? Then he approached and said, I don't know. No one met in my life was worth it. I would trade them for nothing. Instinctively, the two sat down on the wet sidewalk and vented to each other. At the moment, they were two strangers, sharing their problems and making self-deprecating jokes. That was that they need. Someone to listen to them. No trust, no advice, no opinions, no sermons. Just a demonstration of how screwed they both were. The rest of that afternoon passed slowly, but then it got dark and the boy said goodbye. Upon arriving, he was greeted by the tense silence of his parents. Sit down, his father ordered. This here, what does it mean? His father shouted, his face red with anger, and Nathan couldn't breathe. You just wanted to disrespect this house, his father continued. And because of that, you want to eat today. Go up to your room before you do something worse. He ran to his room and locked the door. He sat on the floor, with many tears streaming down his face. The next day, after school, they went for coffee. How are things at home? JP asked. Nathan sighed. Getting worse. My parents found out something about me. They were so horrible this time. They just took away my dinner. Hearing, JP said, You shouldn't go through this. No one should. Then the other boy gasped. I just want to be accepted by someone. Then his new friend looked at him, his eyes full of sparkle. I accept you. I will always accept you. Nathan smiled and thanked him. From then on, they were always together at all times. JP and Nathan were like brothers, but gradually something emerging in Nathan. As the days went by, he didn't want to talk to anyone other than John. He wanted to know what he was doing, what he was thinking. Suddenly, 50:30 p.m. was no longer a time of pain and suffering. On the contrary, Nate was anxiously awaiting it, because he knew he would go anywhere with JP. JP also no longer missed his ex-girlfriend. His academic performance had improved, thanks to Nate, who helped him with his studies and activities. Now he loved reading, something that a few weeks ago he found boring. He became a big fan of Harry Potter, upset with Dumbledore's death. Everything was fine until, before going to sleep, John receives a message. I miss you. A little thing which changed the course of the story. The following week, JP was too busy and couldn't go out at the end of the day because he needed to focus on training. Gradually, Nathan moved away and they were no longer like brothers. They became two strangers until one fine day, JP walks into school hand in hand with his girlfriend, and Nathan could only feel pain in his broken heart.
However, he supported his friend, as he wanted to see him happy. Jumpy, the next day, went to tell the news to your friend Nate, but Nate had sad and started crying and ran away. Jumpy went after Nate, who didn't want to find him or see him. Jumpy found Nate crying at cafe and sat next to his friend. "Hey man, are you okay?" asked Jumpy. "Getting worse. My parents discovered something about me. They don't accept it." Jumpy nodded, fully. "And what do you want?" "I just want to be accepted by someone." Jumpy looked at him, eyes full of empathy. "I accept you. I always accepted." Nate smiled shyly, but before he could stop himself, the words escaped his lips. "I like you. I always like it." Silence fell over. Then Jumpy looked confused, his eyes wide. I need to think." Without waiting for a response, he got up and left, leaving Nate alone. It has a gray, damp afternoon when Jumpy received Nathan's message, asking him to meet at the school gym. The tensions between them had lingered for weeks, a void that seemed impossible to fill. When Jumpy arrived, he saw Nate sitting on a bench near the court, staring at the floor as if the words he needed to say were trapped there. Jumpy stayed for a moment, adjusted the strap of his backpack before walking over. "Hey, Nate." Nate lifted his tired eyes, filled with determination. "Thanks for coming, Jumpy." Jumpy sat beside him, keeping some distance, uncomfortable but concerned. "Of course, I'm sorry for everything. I know I messed things up between us." Nathan shook his head and forced a small smile. "I don't need to apologize. I just wanted to say I never wanted it to end like this. I know I did something you didn't expect, something that might have been selfish." "I wasn't selfish, Nate. It was honest. I just didn't know how to deal with it." Jumpy interrupted, his voice low, almost a whisper. Nathan took a deep breath, fighting back the tears threatening to fall. "I know, but it doesn't change the fact that you are important to me, more than anyone else has ever been. No matter what you feel or don't feel, Jumpy. What I can't accept is your ignoring me. Our friendship never existed." Jumpy averted his gaze, feeling the weight of Nathan's word. He knew he had run away, hiding out of fear of making things worse. "I didn't want to hurt you, Nate. I do. If you stayed away, it would be easier to you to move on." Nathan let out a bitter laugh. "Do you really think it was easy seeing you walking down the halls, holding her hand? That it was easy feeling like I would lost my best friend and the only safe place I had in the world?" Silence filled the space for a moment. Then Jumpy finally looked at Nate. I was an idiot, but I was confused too. I didn't know what to say or how to act. And the last thing I wanted was to lose you. But in the end, I guess I did anyway. Nathan stared at him, his tears finally falling. You didn't lose me, Jumpy. I'm still here. I just wanted you to understand how much this hurt me. And that even so, I want you to be happy, even if it's not with me. Jumpy sickened, feeling the limp in his thought thin. I never wanted to make you suffer, Nate. You are one of the most important people in my life. I even though I can't feeling the same way. I don't wanted this to erase everything we had. Nathan nodded, feeling a mix of pain and relief. Thanks for saying that. I just hope that wherever life takes us, you'll never forget me. I'll never forget, Nate, John P. said sincerely. And I just want to you be happy too, with or without me. 1 month later, the airport was bursting, but Jumpy seemed oblivious to the chaos around him. He held his backpack, thinking as he waited for Nate, who had promised to say goodbye. When he saw him approaching with his hand step, Jumpy felt the wave of the viral pressing down on him. Nathan smiled, even though his eyes betrayed his sadness. So, this is it. You are going to Brazil. Jumpy nodded, tried to smile back. Yeah, there's a lot I need to sort out there. And, well, she and I are giving it another try. I'm happy for you, really, Nate said, though his voice wasn't entirely convincing. And you, are you really going to Paris? Jumpy asked, trying to change the subject. Nate nodded. Yes, a fresh start, I guess. Maybe it's what I need now. Uh, that sat in silence to a moment until Jumpy dropped his backpack to the floor and stepped forward, pulling Nate into a tearing hug. Thank you for everything, Nate. For always being there for me, even when I did deserve it. Nate hugged his back, feeling the tears return. I should be the one thanking you, Jumpy, for accepting me, even when I didn't know how to accept myself. When they pulled apart, Jumpy smiled, though his eyes were shimmering. Well, see you each other again, Nate, I promise. Nate smiled back. I'll be waiting for you that day. With one last look, Jumpy picked up his backpack and headed toward the boarding gate. Nathan stayed behind, watching until Jumpy disappeared into the crowd. Despite the game of goodbye, he felt a small spark of hope. They were heading down different paths, but maybe someday those paths would cross again. Until then, he would carry the memories with him close to his heart.